One of these days we're probably going to have to buy some proper equipment, but that day is not today. In this video I'm going to go over the purposes of the commercial enterprises above and beyond the funding. While the funding is essential for the overall integration and implementation of these programs, the commercial ventures will also be utilized as part of the alternative education system, primarily for the purposes of vocational and technical training. You may or may not have seen the videos about the variant of the Steiner-Waldorf approach for education, but if you haven't, check it out if it's available right now. We can utilize the commercial ventures for the purposes of training students, primarily adults, but youth may be involved to some degree, at least to the extent that they're not involved with any kind of heavy equipment or inside of any dangerous environments or any ways in violation of child labor laws. We don't aim to put all the children to work, but neither do we expect them to sit still in a classroom for 8 hours a day either. The utilization of the foundation-owned commercial ventures for the vocational and technical training is actually a pretty unique opportunity to integrate the educational instruction within the commercial operations, and at the same time to provide funding for the continued growth and expansion of operations, not only commercial ventures but also for the educational and the educational benefit of the recipients of benefits, the expansion of local economies, and it's just a generally all-around great practice. The primary aim is to enhance the educational success by aligning the vocational and technical training with the individual aptitude and interests of the students. Dr. Michio Kaku once proclaimed that high school is the biggest killer of dreams. I believe he actually said junior high school, but high school is going to be more familiar to the international audience. What Michio Kaku meant by that is that, you get these kids that are caught up with a bunch of people of their age with varied interests, no common or very little common ground, and the kid who's really big on science, he's going to get dogged every year except during the science fair. The jocks are gonna be more involved in physical fitness, maybe less in scholastic pursuits. So you've got your popular students like the jocks and certain others, but with the exception of extracurricular activities, there's no ability for students with similar interests to get together. With the variations of the Waldorf-Steiner program in place, we will be able to organize groups that will be comprised of people of different ages, properly supervised, of course, but who share a common interest, and we will be able to put them to put them in classrooms in real-world environments, as it were. So again, while the young children they're not going to be running heavy equipment, they will have the opportunity to get out and see the math that is involved, see the scholastic pursuits they're going to have to understand, with a comprehensive understanding of why they need those educational components, and at the same time to group them with like-minded individuals to encourage and push their dreams, so they can have similarly minded people with which to question the existing framework, and to encourage and allow students to pursue their dreams, not to bury them in a traditional classroom full of conformity. It's just it's a whole lot freer system, but at the same time it's still structured and organized in such a way so as to produce positive results and ensure educational success. The introduction of the commercial operations will be under a single incorporated banner. The incorporation will be owned by the foundation. In this way, net proceeds can be rightfully claimed by the foundation. And again, by Philippine law, 70% of those donations, 70% of the proceeds must be returned to the social welfare, to the benefit of the domestic people. not in the form of cash dividends, but in the form of infrastructure, education, the basic necessities of life, rural improvement projects, the municipal solid waste elimination programs, the energy programs. So we will actually be giving back to the community in this way, at the same time as we're building up local and state economies and improving the median quality of life for the individual, the family, and the local communities. The opportunity presented through this type of alternative educational system will provide both real-world education and even ultimately paid employment opportunities. For the incorporated body to add more or additional commercial ventures, it will be necessary to have the approval of the local communities wherein the commercial ventures will be established. And the reason behind this is to ensure that the new commercial ventures will not only have a better chance of success, but will also provide a direct and tangible benefit to the local communities wherein they're established. So if there's 10 construction companies already, there's no need to form another construction company, even with the patented technologies, as we can simply introduce that as needed in our own programs, and if there are residual sales, there's residual sales. But there would be no benefit to competing with the local companies in that field, especially if it were a field that is already overrun and with far too many businesses already in place, far too many competitors already in place. Each commercial operation is designed to provide hands-on vocational and technical training to recipients, to students, both adult and youth, aligning with the educational model and its emphasis on holistic development and practical skill building, as well as the provision of tools and paid employment opportunities for students once they have reached a successful or a sufficient level of training to be capable of working within those fields. One key aspect of the educational approach that we're using is the use of the aptitude assessments, the aptitude batteries to match participants with relevant vocational and technical opportunities within the existing commercial ventures and in new commercial ventures. And in this way, we can ensure that the students have a much better chance of success and becoming involved in fields or areas of interest or study where they have a better chance for personal success. Again, the encouragement of success at the individual level encourages success at the family level, encourages success at the community level, and everybody benefits. In terms of any kind of detriment to productivity, we have Price's Law, which states that a very small percentage of the individuals employed typically produce the majority of output in any given domain. This also underscores the importance of training and skill development within the workforce. In terms of the workforce, the United States Department of Labor, they've done extensive research in this area and determined that 10 to 15% of the workforce can be comprised of individuals with less than ideal training, less than ideal skills, without any major disruption to productivity. So while productivity may suffer to a very limited degree with both Price's Law and a percentage of the workforce being comprised of people without viable skills, the disruption to productivity should be minimal, allowing the corporations and commercial ventures and ultimately the incorporation to flourish, and that in turn funding the foundation, which will introduce more programs, more commercial ventures, and more opportunities for individuals, families, and local communities, primarily among those formerly from among the most vulnerable members of society. Once again, the Philippine structure of government is set up rather unique and ideally suited for what we are focusing on. As the owner of the incorporation, the executives and the administrative teams of the corporations will still be paid in accordance with generally accepted levels. The taxes will be paid in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. You know, if you've got bonuses set up at the corporation, nobody's going to contest that. The point is that rather than fattening the coffers of the corporation, once all the salaries and bonuses and payroll and everything is paid, as the sole and rightful owner of the incorporation, the foundation will have just claim to the proceeds. And Philippine law, again, requires that 70% of those proceeds go to social welfare in the case of our foundation. This reinvestment, even if mandated by law, supports the continued operation and expansion of community programs, the educational institutions, and eventually even the introduction of health and other basic human services. The idea behind this is to foster, for again, more holistic growth, provide people with the social welfare and the, not welfare as in social assistance, but social well-being, back to the original definitions of the words, proper definition of social welfare. The purpose of the foundation is for social welfare benefits, providing people with the basic necessities of life, and ultimately that will include expanded educational opportunities, healthcare, and other services. So the commercial ventures through this serve as the engines to drive the process of systemically sustainable human growth and development, aligning both the profit motives with the philanthropic goals, so long as the foundation remains the sole or at least the primary owners of the incorporated body, and the organizational structure is properly documented and controlled in such a way through the legal documentation, through the bylaws and the articles of agreement, so as to prevent any kind of usurpation of powers, however you want to pronounce that, and so as to ensure that the people are mandated to keep those in control in check. Again, with the tripart organizational structure, the way it is put together, each one serves itself, but by serving itself, it serves the interest of the whole. And like the three-legged stool, each leg carries its own weight, but when they're angled properly and they're integrated properly and they're put together properly, each one not only supports its own weight, but a great deal of additional weight at the same time that it supports the other legs. So with the tripart system of organizational structure that we have in place, the incorporation will be vital not only to funding, but to educational training and poverty eradication, and ultimately for the funding of extended benefits and programs to contribute to the social welfare of the individual, the family, and the local community. So if you'd like to know more, let us know, please. Thanks. Bye. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment below.